What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of the Mictuning 12-gang switch panel. This thing is loaded with features. Hands down, my favorite switch panel I've ever used or had in any of my vehicles. I absolutely love it. Just packed with features and options. So we're going to cover all that in the video. I will provide a link down below if you like what you see, but let's get into it. I'll show you what this thing is all about and why I like it so much better than the other panels I've used. Real quick, guys, I just want to mention, I'm only going to do a very brief and quick install to show you how it's done. I've already covered this in detail with our rough country switch panel. I'll link that video down below if you want to check out how to, if you're brand new, if you're not really sure how to do this. It's honestly very simple. I will cover it very briefly in this video, but this is going to be more of going over the features and showing you why we made the switch to the Mictuning and what makes it so much better. So just wanted to mention that real quick. Let's get into it. Quick look at everything you're going to get in the box. You have all of your mounting brackets right there, your 100 amp breaker, spare fuses and the hardware for mounting. You have your main circuit board right there with the 12 spots, your switch panel that's going to go inside the truck, some stickers, the instruction manual, zip ties, and then your wiring. And that's one thing I'm noticing already right off the bat that's better than the rough country one. If you saw my rough country install video, you know that we had to cut off the ring terminals and put our own on because they did not, when I purchased mine, the one that I got, they did not have the proper size ring terminal to go to the battery. If you look at the Mictuning wiring harness, you can see that has a smaller ring terminal on that side. That's going to go to our circuit board. The bigger one is going to go to our battery. So that's an improvement right out of the gates with this Mictuning over the rough country. Same thing up here. This one has two of the smaller ones. So this is going to go from our board to our fuse. But then the other red one you can see has one bigger ring terminal to go to the battery. All right, so that's an improvement right out of the gates. That was one minor complaint I had on the rough country. You had to cut off those ring terminals and put your own size on there to make it work. All right, guys, install is complete. So this is actually even easier than the rough country switch panel. Number one, because there's only, other than the positive and negative, obviously. So if you're looking at this real quick, I'm just going to cover this. Negative terminal right here. That black goes to the negative of the battery. This positive goes to one end of your 100 amp fuse. The other end of the fuse goes to the positive. I'll put a picture on your screen of that fuse. And then literally it's just this wiring harness right there that goes up to our switch panel in the console. So it's that simple. And then of course all of your accessories come to the corresponding spot. Again, if you want any more in-depth or detailed information on how to install these things, check out my other video. I will link it down below. I'm not going to go into much detail there. Don't pay attention to these two thin wires. That's something totally different that I just have hooked up there. That's actually for my rock light controller. So these two thin wires right here, that is not part of the Mictuning. Literally 3 wires, black to negative, red to the fuse to the positive, and then this harness to the switch panel itself. All right, perfect spot back here. I'll show you. Everything pops into place, nice and neat. This cover will still fit on without a problem. I'm trying to do this one-handed while I'm holding the camera. Bear with me. So you can see right there, works perfect. All right, let's go take a look at the switch panel. All right, guys, let's talk about the features on this thing and what sets it apart. So one of the things I noticed when I looked at this panel and after I hooked it up and started using it, I love the fact that right now the truck is off. The ignition is not on, nothing is on. The truck is completely off, but I can still use my switch panel. So not only can I use my panel, I could also still use whatever accessory I have hooked up here. Doesn't matter. Everything works whether the truck is running or not, okay? Not all panels are able to do that. The rough country panel we had in here, I'm not knocking it, but the truck had to be on or running. The ignition had to be on or the truck had to be running in order for my rough country switch panel to work, which means all of my accessories didn't work unless the truck was running or the ignition was on. So I love the fact that you can control the backlighting and your accessories, whether the truck is running or not. I love having that control versus not having that control. And the other thing is the rough country panel, and I'm not knocking it. It was a good panel, but when you turn the truck on, the backlighting was on no matter what. You didn't have a way to turn it off without doing extra wiring and switches. And it just, the way the rough country panel was wired, if the truck was running, the backlighting was on. Again, the Mictuning, you can completely control. The button right here is your power button. Whether the truck is running or not, you can control your backlighting and your accessories, okay? In my opinion, pretty big advantage. There may be times where you want to use your accessories and the truck isn't running, or there might be times where the truck is running and you want to turn your backlight off. You have that option with this Mictuning switch panel. Another nice feature is you have brightness settings on this, so you don't have just one standard or one setting for the brightness. This middle button right here, you can, right now it's at 100%, so during the day, if you want it super bright so you can see it easily, 100%, if you press it, it'll take it down to 75, down to 50, down to 25, down to 10. So at nighttime, it's that easy to adjust the brightness. My other panel didn't have that. Not that it was all that bright, it really wasn't, but it's nice to have that function and be able to adjust the brightness as I see fit. The third button down here is your RGB button. It has 8 different color settings. So right now we're on white. It has a red, kind of like an orangish, almost like an orangish peach color, yellow, green, aqua blue, I guess, is if that's what you want to call it, then more of like a royal blue, and then like a pinkish purple. Okay, and then we're back to white. So 8 different color settings that you can choose from as well. Again, just loaded with features that not all panels have, including the one that I had in this truck. So here's one of my absolute favorite features on this panel. So it has 3 different modes, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. It has standard or constant, it has momentary, and then it has strobe. What I mean by that is standard is just your typical push on, push off. Okay, so accessories will come on and off as you push it. Okay, the momentary mode, where that's going to come into play is, I mean, you could really do it with anything, but let's say you have a horn hooked up to this. Let's just say, for argument's sake, I don't have a horn hooked up, but let's just say that button right there, I have a horn hooked up to that. So instead of pushing it and my horn coming on and staying on and just blaring, you can turn it to a momentary setting to where it only works when you push it. In order to do that, all we have to do is come to our brightness button, or this middle button over here on the left, push and hold, and you're going to see the whole panel is going to start flashing red. Now, while it's flashing red, any accessory or any button that you want to turn to momentary, push it right now. So let's push, again, let's just say that's our horn, and then we'll do it with our roof rack light bar as well, just for demonstration. So you can see those two have their red button, or the power buttons, turned on, which means they're on in momentary. In order to get back out, just push and hold your brightness setting again. Now, the cool thing about this is you can customize every single switch or every button individually. So my ditch lights are still going to work normal or standard, push on, push off. My bumper bar, still push on, push off. My horn, again, I don't have one, but let's just say this was a horn over here. Push it, you can see it comes on, let go, it turns off. That's momentary. Same thing with our roof rack light bar. Push it, turns off as soon as you let go. And again, you can do that with every single button individually. That is an awesome feature. I love the fact that you can do it, how you can set up each button however you want it. There's also a mode called strobe. Well, actually, let me show you how to get back to normal or standard. So if we go back in there again, just push and hold the brightness, we're back to where it's flashing red. Let's say you want to turn those 2 back to standard. Just push them. Okay, now you can see the power buttons are not on. Go back to our home screen. And now you can see push button, or I'm sorry, it's back to standard where it's just push on, push off. Okay, again, you can customize every single button like that. There's a strobe feature where, so to do that, all you're going to do is push and hold again. You can see we're back into momentary setting. If you just short press, now it's going to start flashing blue. Okay, so I have these 2 set to strobe just for demonstration. So again, you can do it with any button though, or any app. I'm sorry, not app, any accessory, whatever you want, okay? You can do it however you want to do it. So right now, those 2 are on strobe. To get back to normal, or just your home screen, push and hold the brightness. So now, if we push that, you can see it's going to strobe, okay? But again, everything else still works as you had it set up, okay? So we can go in here and let's just say we want to make our horn, that's a strobe, that's on standard. Let's say we want to make our horn momentary. Ready? Go back to the home screen or the standard screen, okay? So now we have push on, push off, push on, push off. We have our strobe feature on that switch. And then we have our momentary over here for our horn. All right. Completely customizable. I absolutely love that feature. Hands down my favorite feature of this panel. I love the fact that you can do each individual button on its own. The last feature I'm going to show you is something that, I don't know, you might care about, you might not care about, but instead of just having it a solid color, again, all the 8 colors that I showed you, what you can do is your RGB button, if you push and hold it, there's going to be 3 different options. You're going to go through a gradient option, a jump option, or a breathing option. So if you push and hold, you can see it's going to go through a gradient. So you can kind of see how it's fading in and out in between colors. Hopefully it's showing up on camera, but it's just kind of, the red is fading in and out, then it'll go to the next color and fade in and out and all that, you know, so on and so forth with all 8 colors. Now, if you push and hold again, it'll go to what's called the jump. So it's just going to jump from one color to the next. No fading in and out or anything like that. And then the last one, if you push and hold again, it's called breathing. So you can see what it's doing. Kind of goes completely dark and then fades into the next color, then completely dark, and so on and so forth. So just a cool feature. I'm not sure how many people would actually use that setting, but if you like it, it's there for you, and it's that easy. Now, if you want to just get back to your standard single color, all you got to do, press your RGB button, and you're back to your standard colors, and you can cycle through however you want. All right, I'm going to have mine on blue to match the rest of the truck, so that's the setting I'm going to run for the most part on my panel there. All right, guys, there you have it. 12 gang switch panel from Mictuning. I absolutely love this thing. Hands down my favorite switch panel that I've ever used in any of my vehicles or my boat for that matter. I absolutely love it. Loaded with features at the price point, you can't beat it. Link will be down below if you want to take a look or if you want to pick one up. If you have any questions or comments or concerns on anything you saw or anything I said in the video, please feel free to drop them down below. We'll get them addressed. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.